I am about to spend the next while of your time coming across like a really pretentious jerk. So I think we have lost sincerity, and I think we've lost earnestness in the world. And I don't know if those are necessarily the right words to use to describe it, but it's the words I'm using because I think that we have kind of like lost our way. And I find this when I'm trying to grow on Twitch or on YouTube or on other social media platforms, that I think the overabundance of irony and the rapid consumption culture and the algorithm, all of it have kind of ruined things in a way. And I don't want to put this in a way where it's like, oh, well, if you engage in these things, you're wrong. But these things are designed to make life worse. I don't know if that's the explicit corporate design, but I mean, it's a corporation with capitalism, so it's going to happen. And I've been trying to sort of think up what's the identity of Colin Valentine. I mean, outside of being your favorite streamer's favorite streamer. But what is the identity and what is the purpose? Because I think as a creator, I want to have some sort of thrust and drive and purpose in what I do and in what I make. I don't just want to make shit for the sake of making shit. And I try to find like-minded people who think sort of along the same lines as I do in terms of these things, and whose content reflects the sort of values that I have in my head. Oh, my cat's here. I have a few brief things I would like to I have things I'd like to discuss in regards to how we engage with things. So I want to start with social media, and I just recently deleted all social media from my phone, except like Discord and Facebook Messenger, but I don't consider those social media. I consider those messaging apps because I use them strictly to connect with people and communicate with them. And I define social media as like the platform where you are posting for engagement, right? And that's it, or you are scrolling with the intent to share. So that's social media. It's like TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Blue Sky, Twitter, X, whatever. Stuff like that. I don't have any of them on my phone anymore. And that's not to say I don't use them, but I keep them on my computer. And I keep them on my computer so I can set aside time to go do them. I'm not going to start scrolling Instagram in the bed and spend an extra hour in bed because I've been flicking through reels. I can go and check Instagram and look at memes on my computer and send them to people if I want, but it's my choice, and I have to it's a set aside time to go do that. I took them all off my phone because I got tired of it. It was this habit I couldn't break. I'm watching a movie and I'm excited to watch this movie and I'm engaged with this movie, but I should check Instagram, or I'm just going to look up something about this movie on my phone, and that would turn into a 30-minute scrolling session on Instagram, and then I have no idea what's going on, or I'd miss a whole episode of a show. It's become so normalized and everybody else around us is doing it that it's so easy to not realize you're doing it, but it's so consuming. I got tired of having like Blue Sky on my phone because I'd make my posts, but I don't need to spend all day getting little pings on my phone about, so-and-so liked it, so-and-so reposted it. I can go check when I have business time, because I mostly use that account as a business account. Like, I do post personal stuff on it, but I mostly use it as like a promotion for my videos and my Twitch and to engage with other people. So I try to use it during a business time. My phone had stopped being a tool and a communication device and was just a distraction and was a fidget toy. I think that, and it's designed to be that way. The corporations who make these things like Meta and whoever owns TikTok now, they have designed these things in such a way so they absorb as much of your time as possible. The algorithm, especially on TikTok, because it analyzes your viewing habits, it analyzes whose pages you look at and spend more time on, what you like and what you share and what you comment on, to keep you there longer. They want you there as long as possible, because the longer you're there, the more ad money they're making, the more likely you are to buy something off TikTok Shop. Same thing with Instagram, right? You're scrolling, and an ad pops up. You don't think anything of it, but that's ad dollars. Because, we can now tell the company that their ad got more impressions. Add into that like all of these like clean influencers or whatever you want to call them, who are like, look at this vacuum I'm using, look at this other thing I'm using, which, you know, I have an affiliate link. You know, it's all in the interest of generating money and taking your time and turning that into money for them. I, over the past several months, have realized I don't want to be a part of that. Like, I'd reinstalled TikTok and remade a TikTok account with the intent of posting my Twitch clips on there. And they were getting some views, and I was happy about it, but none of it was translating to any sort of growth on the Twitch channel. I find that YouTube and just being on Twitch does more. You know, it just sucked up so much of my time, so I got rid of it. And then that time I would spend on TikTok was getting sucked up by Instagram, and then that was getting sucked up by Blue Sky. And if I find it happening with YouTube, YouTube's gone too, but I just try to like put my videos on and, you know, do dishes or something, which is why I have it on my phone. But, you know, worst case scenario, I can always just access it through my web browser. You know, this thing that should have been a tool has become like a toy. It's wide, and the same thing with like games on our phone. You know, they're like, oh, this new phone game, this bigger phone game, this better phone game, and it sucks your time. This is a free little game on a phone that you actually have to spend money to advance in, and like what happens? You end up playing that, and I found that I was getting frustrated because I used to play a lot of Marvel Strike Force, and I would play Marvel Strike Force instead of playing actual games that I wanted to play, like games that I bought and owned. Or I would play Marvel Strike Force and spend money on it. And it's like, what am I even doing? There's no end game here. There's no story here. I'm just advancing my team so I can win the next event to get advancements for my team to win the next event. And that's sort of why I've become, in a way, disillusioned with a lot of live service games. I do play a couple. I do find Fortnite fun, you know, at the best of times. And I do enjoy Marvel Rivals, but that's mostly because I'm a massive Marvel fanboy and I'm incapable of seeing past my bias for that, but it's also a strong game. But I think, you know, sincerity and intentionality need to be present in our video game choices. And that was kind of what is part of what spurred this video idea on. Is I, in my last video, Welcome to the Media Palace, showed you guys some of the video games that I've been buying, because I recently got a PS2, I recently got an Xbox 360, I recently got a Wii, and I recently reacquired a Nintendo DS and 3DS. You know, I got like Mortal Kombat for the 360, and this is a small selection of the games I own. Fallout New Vegas, which I showed before. X-Men Legends 2, Rise of Apocalypse. This is great. You guys should play this. All of you should play this. Not that one. That one's mine, but your own. And Spider-Man Friend or Foe. And I found that I enjoyed booting up those games. I enjoyed booting up like Pokemon Black or Black 2 because the machines they're on aren't constantly demanding other things from you. So when I go to do something on my phone, the notifications pop up, and it's an Instagram notification, or if you still have Facebook on your phone, you'll know this. If you don't turn off like every notification, Facebook sends you like 5 notifications a day that are basically irrelevant and add up to something has happened. Someone has posted something, you should go look. Please get on our app. I'm begging you, please get on our app. Apps are like, oh, should we send you a daily digest of stuff that you can get on our app and look at? And I'm like, absolutely the fuck not. I don't want you to do that. So you don't get to control when I look at your app. I want to control when I look at my app. And I found that I really enjoyed playing Pokemon on the DS, and I played it on the DS Lite, which I have here. It's in the case, I'm not gonna take it out, but I played on this. No internet. I mean, other than like it's got Wi-Fi connection, but like no browser, no notifications, no updates. I put in the game, I played it from start to finish. It was not requiring me to constantly do other things. On my computer, I've turned off all notifications, and when I'm playing a video game, for the most part, I will turn Discord off. I will close Discord, I will close any other app, because I don't want to be constantly tap, 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 hey, tap, 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 hey, tap, 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 hey, by everything else going on when I'm trying to play a game. I think we have gotten so wrapped up in this idea of needing to be constantly in communication with people and, you know, vice versa, that we've forgotten the value of just disconnecting for a while. Back in the day when I was like a kid, we'd leave the house, and my parents didn't have cell phones, so you would call the home phone, and if we weren't home, you'd leave a message, and we'd get back to you. And now it's, you text someone, and if they don't reply in 5 minutes, and I'm guilty of this, you freak out thinking that they're pissed off with you. And that's a totally new anxiety, and it's a new anxiety that kids nowadays are going to be living with forever because they've grown up in this immediacy. They've grown up in this, instant gratification and instant connection that really we shouldn't have. I want, stuff like my games and my communication with people to be sincere and intentional. What I love about having a game physically, and I've got a Game Boy one, in here as well, I've got Emerald, is I have to choose to play this. I have to, sit down and be like, ooh, I want to play Spider-Man Friend or Foe, and I want to play it bad enough that I'm going to open this case up, and I'm going to pop the disc out, I'm going to put it in the player, and I'm going to play it, and it's nice, it's different, rather than having a massive sprawling Steam library or GOG library or PSN library that you just click on, and it doesn't feel like there's any intentionality behind it. And I've been trying to bring this sort of intentionality into my Steam library, which is why I try to keep it trimmed down. I regularly go through my games and I'm like, does this spark joy? Is this something I want to have? Is this something that if I found it at full price, I'd pay for? Because yeah, these are all games that, like, Spider-Man Friend or Foe is one I've wanted to play for a lot of years. Not even holding it towards the camera. What the fuck am I doing? I've wanted to play this for a lot of years, but I never got around to it because, it's older and stuff. But now I own a PS2 and now I own a copy of it, and I'm really excited to, get into it and play it. And so that goes also hand in hand with our music. I don't love Spotify anymore because you can make these massive 1,000-hour playlists, and in the end, it's stuff that, again, it feeds this algorithm that tells you what you should listen to. And I kind of long for the days of where you would, learn about your music from your parents or your friends and whatever. I've done a couple things. One, I keep all my Spotify playlists to a maximum of 79 minutes, which according to Google is how long CDs can be. So I have to pick a selection of songs that I feel fit this vibe, and I can't go over that. And if I want to go over that, I have to take a song off. And it creates this sort of like intentional mix CD of something I actually really want to listen to. And I found that it's stopped my skipping when I listen to playlists, because it's not just filled up with a bunch of stuff that sort of fits the vibe. It's a very tight, usually like 15, 16 songs. And then I got this, My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade, for like $5 or $10. I don't remember, but I got it from a local store when I went to pick up Chaperone CD. And it was cheap. And Chaperone CD was only like $20, and that's like basically brand new. But now I have this, and rather than just hearing the hits or something that TikTok or Instagram Reels shoved out, or what, Top 40 Radio is playing, or what Spotify is pushing, I listen to the whole album in really high quality, and I get to hear new songs and have new experiences with it. And my wife and I have started, because we live about 45 minutes away from like our major city, and so when we drive in, it's a minimum of an hour and a half, there and back, for like going to visit my parents or her parents, or pick something up from the city. And we've started bringing CDs along with us, and we've found that it's a much different experience. It's been really good. She got a couple of Carrie Underwood CDs, and we've really been enjoying those. Same thing for movies. I find that movies kind of algorithmically just come at you. Netflix pumps out so much content that it's hard to sort of decide, and I got really fed up with, we're gonna sit down and I'm gonna scroll, and now food's done and we're tired. It's been an hour, half an hour, whatever, and we still haven't picked anything to watch. We started buying movies physically again. I got this for $5 at a Walmart. Okay, yeah, it's in a bargain bin. Yeah, it doesn't have, a ton of bonus features or anything, but I own this. Netflix isn't going to show up at my house and be like, you can listen to this or watch this until February 29th, and then it's gone. That's mine forever, unless I get rid of it. But it's mine. It's going to work unless I break it. I do have streaming services still, but I try to not use them unless I have an idea of what I want to watch. So I'm like, ooh, I want to watch this movie. I'll look up and see like, oh, what's it on? Or I'll be like, oh, I heard about this thing on Netflix. I'm going to go give it a watch. But I try to not just go on Netflix and get into that aimless scroll. I'm on Netflix a lot more now that wrestling's on there, but I find, books are kind of similar as well. I'm trying to read more. I've been working through the Pokemon Adventures Collector's Edition manga. I have almost all of it. It's really good if you haven't read it. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and I think this is super fun. But it's just nice to have something physical that you can open, that you can mark with like a bookmark, not like scribble. I mean, you can scribble in it if you want. I don't think you should, but you can. And again, it's just the no distractions. I put my phone in a different room. I take my smartwatch off, and I read. I have an e-reader. I mean, it's a tablet. It is a fucking tablet. I don't know why I call it an e-reader. It sounds pretentious. But I use this for two things. I use it for videos and I use it for reading. I will not keep any texting, social media, messaging. I don't want notifications on this motherfucker, okay? I have a bunch of comics on here, and I have like YouTube, and I have Netflix, and I have Disney Plus. And that's sometimes because I take this to the gym, and I prop it up on the treadmill so I can watch while I walk, okay? That's it. You know, and it's looking for a book that is gonna engage me and be fun and isn't just, you know, smut. And again, sorry, I guess that's mean because that makes it sound like smut's bad. And there's nothing wrong with if you like smut. You can like smut. I'm not going to stop you from liking smut. And I've said it too many times now. But I think that Book Talk has kind of like done this weird twist of enjoying reading where it's all about like, here's what's brand new. Here is what has the most sex in it. And it's just utterly trope laden. And I don't like that. I like going to a library or to a bookstore and looking at covers and looking and reading what's going to happen in the book and be like, ooh, I like this. My wife and I were at the bookstore this past weekend and we got a couple of horror novels that seemed really, really good. And I love tropes. I think they're great. I just think that using them exclusively to recommend books and movies and shows is really exhausting. And I know, again, this is what I said. People are going to be pissed off because I sound like a pretentious jackass. And I know I do. I just feel really strongly about this stuff. I feel like our time is being monopolized by all of these things that want to sell you stuff and want, you know, you to feel bad about yourself. And it's the same thing, and I'm gonna, again, piss people off probably. I don't know. But I don't think Mr. Beast is any good. And that's not because of the allegations. I just think the style sucks. You know, it's made to rot kids' brains. It's sugar. Mr. Beast content is pure refined sugar. It's, you know, no nutritional value, no like value to your brain. No, and it's just so hyper and fast and colors and lights and movement and not everyone, a lot of people have adopted this style and I hate it. It's why most of my YouTube videos are really long takes that I don't cut. I only really cut out, you know, the bad parts. If I'm like, oh fuck, I stumbled over a word or I had a really long pause, I'll try and trim it down so it's a little easier to watch. But I want them to feel conversational for the most part. And I think that everyone trying to chase the carrot and chase the bag, you know, no one is making sincere content anymore. Not no one. I can give you a recommendation list of YouTubers who I think are making good, sincere content. But, you know, the majority of people like are chasing that Mr. Beast type thing. And that's now what's successful. Or, oh, you have to get successful off of shorts because you got to play to the 2-minute attention span or less. And it's gotten really ridiculous. The internet has just ruined so many things. And I know I'm bouncing all over. I have a lot of thoughts in my head and I probably should have written a script and I didn't. But, you know, this past weekend I went and I saw Captain America 4 and I really liked it. I thought it was great. And I immediately am inundated online because of the algorithm knowing I like superheroes by people bitching about this movie. Oh, this is bad. Oh, the CGI is bad. First of all, the CGI in the movie was not bad to my eye. And if it really is bad, great. But I do not think everyone online is some sort of CGI expert who actually knows what CGI is. I think these people don't like the way Marvel is right now. And so they're parroting arguments that they've heard about bad CGI. And everyone's like, yeah, bad CGI. Yeah, bad CGI. Yeah, bad CGI. And it's just everybody kind of nodding in agreement to everyone parroting the same arguments rather than, you know, and again, I sound old and like a pretentious jackass here, but like, go to the movie, watch the movie and decide for yourself whether you like it or not. Do not let reviews and Redditors decide whether or not you like a movie. I still love Marvel movies because I don't engage in the discourse about them. I just refuse to. I might make a post about them here and there, and I have engaged in the discourse, but stopping myself from engaging in discourse has made me enjoy everything like 100 times more. I stopped engaging in wrestling discourse online because it was getting really, really toxic, and I got a lot happier. I know the show's not perfect still, but I'm enjoying it a lot more when I'm not constantly reading, 300 pundits being like, but what if this is bad, actually? You know the meme, it's like, thing you like is actually bad, and it just feels like that's the majority of the internet, is what if thing you like is actually bad? What if thing you like is just thing you like, and you can earnestly like it? You don't have to like it ironically, you don't have to like it as a guilty pleasure, you can just like the thing, stop judging people for what they like. Unless what they like is something super like creepy, like League of Legends. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Earnestness and sincerity in what we own, I think, is also important. I think there's a lot of people being like minimalism, and I'm like, we don't need to be super minimalist. Like, I don't think we need to own nothing, but overconsumption core has gotten crazy, where it's people you know what I'm talking about, the fridge videos where people are like decanting their tomatoes into another container, and then they're chopping their cucumbers and decanting those into another container, and they're like, I'm gonna decant my Tide Pods into a glass container, and you don't need to fucking do that because it's a huge waste of already single-use plastic. But if you're gonna use single-use plastic, at least like use the bag. And I think somewhere in the middle of those two things is an earnest acquisition of things that make you happy. I don't know how much of what's behind me you can see, but I have a fuck ton of like action figures and pop figures and Pokemon models and stuffed animals. And some people might say this is too many things. Maybe. They all make me happy though. I walk in this room and I get a little bit of joy every time I see them because I'm like, hey, that's my stuff. That's stuff I love. That's stuff I like. Get stuff you like. Don't be like, oh, well, I have to be aesthetic, so I'm gonna wear beige and buy beige and paint beige. My wall here is purple. Again, I don't know if you can see it, but I got a purple wall to the left of me as the accent wall in the room, and it's fun. It makes me happy. It brings me joy. I have silly things. For Valentine's Day, my wife got me a toy dragon, okay? I got her a Lego flower set. She's got a ton of Lego flower sets. She doesn't need more, but they bring us joy. It brings me joy to watch her build them, and it brings her joy to build them and display them. Don't limit yourself by an aesthetic. Your house shouldn't look like a show home. I know that you think, oh, well, it's clean and it looks great, but you're not there. There's no you to it. There's no joy to it. There's no spark to it. I and my wife, we own shit that's colorful and silly, and I've got swords, and I don't need them. And I've actually had people be like, do you really need to get swords? No, but they make me happy because I think swords are fucking neat. And that's what it comes down to. I just think swords are cool. And so that, I guess, all this to say, I'm trying to do sincerity and earnestness with my content. I'm trying to make the media palace a place where you can actually love something. There's no, oh, it's not that deep. And I mean, I know, like, I'm not perfect at it either, but I don't want to have streams that are there's a spew of irony and bad jokes. I want to engage with the game and the community, and I want to love the game and the community. I want to do movie nights where we actually enjoy the movie, and it's not like, oh, we're going to watch this as a meme. Podcasting Gargantua 1, which the link will be in the description for, is a podcast I do with my friend Grimia, and we're watching Venture Bros, which is one of her favorite shows. And as a side project to that, we do something called the Commentary Cast, which you can get on my Ko-Fi. Plug for the Ko-Fi. And it's basically riff tracks of a movie. But what it's really devolved into is just us giving audio commentary to a movie and being silly, but we really enjoy the movie while we do it, even if it's like a bad movie. We've so far done Batman Forever and Mindhunters, and they were both really enjoyable, even though Batman Forever is not a terribly good film, because we went into it with a sincere and earnest idea, and not doing this, ooh, we're gonna watch this ironically. We had a really good time, and I think, the final product is something that's actually worth having. The next one we're planning to do is In the Mouth of Madness, which is a movie we both love. And it's, again, not like the best movie in the world. It's not, I don't think there's a lot of people being like, this movie is immaculate. This movie is perfect. but it's fun. You know, it's good. It's enjoyable. So I guess just all to say, like, enjoy things, do things intentionally. Don't just let an algorithm or, you know, the internet dictate what you do or what you buy. If you want to buy a video game, ignore the reviews. I've stopped looking at reviews for games and I look up, like, is X game fun? X game gameplay trailer. And I'll base it off that. And, you know, sometimes the game's not perfect. That's okay. But overall, I found that I'm having more fun with games now because I know what I like and I try to ignore the critical consensus around things. So what if a game might be thought of as bad or mixed or whatever, as long as I'm having fun with it? And so what if a game is game of the year, but I don't like it? Again, I don't have a point here, or maybe I do. Maybe I have like a bunch of points. Maybe this could have been like 8 different videos. I don't know. But it's just a lot of stuff that's sort of been on my mind and what I want the media palace to be, with the media palace being like the sphere of content I do. Speaking of my sphere of content, there's a bunch of shit I want you guys to check out. So if you like this video and you stay till the end, first of all, thank you so much. That's really cool of you. And you should subscribe because why the fuck not? It doesn't cost you anything and I'm hot. You should also check me out on Twitch, where I am your favorite streamer's favorite streamer. You know, I try to bring the same energy to my Twitch streams. Sometimes I'm a little more high-strung, but for the most part, it's pretty laid back. I play video games, and we get into chats about whatever. You want to talk about movies, you want to talk about books, superheroes, comic books, whatever. Come, we'll have a talk. It's going to be a great time. Podcast on Gargantua 1, like I mentioned, is a thing I do with my friend Grimia. Link will be in the description. I also do the Bloons cast with my friend Retro Froggy, where we play Bloons and do a podcast. What's the podcast about? Doesn't fucking matter. We just talk about whatever the hell we feel like. Our last episode, we broke down a bunch of internet drama we were a part of, which was super duper fun. So that was great. You should also check out my Ko-Fi. It's how I make money doing this at all. So members get, you know, access to exclusive Discord roles, early access to most videos, unless a video like this where I'm like guerrilla putting it up and I'm like, I did it, I edited it, and I put it up in a day. Planned videos. As I start doing those more, they get their name in credits and they get their name in streams. And so also shout out to Kristen Aaron 92, who is in the Ruby tier. Ruby tier's got a shout out on the first video after they paid. You also get access to the commentary cast, monthly rant videos, any blog posts I make, and bonus content from streams. That's all from me today from the Media Palace. I'm Colin Valentine.